Somebody suggest really no position on this.
Secretary of the Economic Commission for Africa, distinguished heads of delegations, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to call the meeting in order. And as a beginning, since this OAU meeting is the first one after Khartoum, I'll request distinguished delegates to stand up for a minute in the honor of His Excellency the late President of Kenya, His Excellency Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, and His Excellency the late President of Algeria, His Excellency President Boumediene. Allow me now to read out the message sent by Comrade Lieutenant Colonel Mengistu Haile Mariam, Chairman of the Provisional Military Administrative Council and the Council of Ministers and Commander-in-Chief of the Revolutionary Army of Socialist Ethiopia, to the Conference of African Ministers of Trade on UNCTAD 5. Distinguished ministers, ladies and gentlemen, Ethiopia, and to express my sincere wishes for the success of this Conference of African Ministers of Trade, which is entrusted with the task of coordinating African position for the forthcoming 5th United Nations Conference on Trade and Development and developing countries. The outcome has been rather disappointing. This is particularly so for the least developed among the developing countries, whose economic situation today, most developed countries have been reluctant to fulfill their commitments. The overall distribution of the flow of is not only minimal, but also declining in real terms. It remained low and unstable, while prices of manufactured goods that the developing countries import from the developed balance of payments problems, which in turn has caused rapid growth of the developing countries. As a result, the development process of developing countries has been considerably developed countries to cancel official dates of the least developed countries. The consideration of non-economic factors predominantly under colonial domination. At that time, colonialism was the major obstacle for social and economic development. However, thanks to the determined struggle of the liberation movements and the instrumentality of the United Nations, colonialism, nevertheless, the existence today of colonial and racist regimes in Southern Africa has been detrimental for the peace of our continent. Liberation movements in Southern Africa and will continue to do so until final victory, in which some 22 out of 30 least developed countries in the world are located, is not only severely affected by the prevailing international economic malaise, the regions of the developed.
At Nairobi, that the process of negotiations intended to lead up to a code of conduct on the transfer of technology was initiated. It was at Nairobi that a decision was taken to bring the subject of external debt to a ministerial meeting of UNCTAD's Trade and Development Board, an event which took place in March last year and whose results were somewhat positive. It was again at Nairobi that a major thrust was given to the whole concept of economic cooperation among the developing countries, reflecting the theme of collective self-reliance. That the problems of specially disadvantaged categories of countries, such as the least developed, were particularly underlined and underscored.